Oh, my angel mother, where to start? How about she's spontaneous? I remember 8th or 9th grade, I mentioned at the early of the week that I wanted to go to Disneyland, and that weekend we were in Disneyland. It was so fun, and you even convinced Dad to come join us as well, and I always remember how fun that trip was. Also, compassionate and loving. When I fell asleep while driving and crashed the car, you loved me enough to wake me up abruptly from a nap to make sure I wasn't taking any drugs. And your compassion went even as far to offer me the money that you guys got for selling the car. Unfortunately, Dad did not agree to such compassion, but I was impressed by your compassion even in that moment. And I love you, Mom, and I appreciate how good of an example you are even through the hardest of times. Love you, Mom.
Hi, Ruth. You have always been such a supportive mother-in-law from the very beginning when we decided to elope till now when we decided to move across the country and be so far away. I've spent so much time living in your home and I love it. It's so much fun and I can really feel the love that you have for all of your kids and in-laws and grandkids, and so thank you for that, and we love you and we miss you, and have a wonderful birthday, and we hope it's really special.
All right, happy birthday, Mom. Okay, so a few things. I admire that you always get into what you're into, whether that's decorating your house or even more importantly, being at your kids' stuff and getting into what your kids are into, or even now with the grandkids, which is really fun. Favorite memory is probably just around all the different music that we've done, and that doesn't necessarily mean piano lessons, but definitely all the cello and jazz, and all the different things that we've done together, always come and with. And so just to finish it off, yeah, I really appreciate that you always made time to be at all of your kids' things all your whole life, and even fun that you're coming to grandkids soccer games now. So love you, Mom. Happy birthday.
Hey Ruth, I love living close and getting to have so many sweet small grandmother moments with you, that we can do waffle Wednesdays and have you come to soccer games and dance recitals and all the fun things that our kids do. I also really admire the courage that you have. I looked up the definition of being able to do something that frightens you. For courage is one of the definitions, and I just have been really blessed and inspired watching you do things that are difficult, and being carried through doing them and just pushing through. And happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom. Love you a lot. When I think about trying to think of the story of how you supported me, the one that always comes to mind is when I thought I deserved an allowance because my other friends had one. So you entertained the idea. We went through a list of, okay, I get money for doing good in school, doing chores, practicing music, and then you said, well, look at all the things that we do for you, and started listing off how much you pay for music lessons and sports and Boy Scouts and Young Men's and other things. It was just like, oh, I just needed to be grateful, which is what you said. Like, forget the allowance, just be grateful. So I think I tried to take it to heart and do well at what I was doing, and being very mindful and grateful that you and Dad allowed us to do all of those things. Another thing that I admire about you is the relationships that you have. Speak specifically to our relationship, I feel like we have a very open relationship. We can talk anytime about anything, and that is a wonderful thing to have with a parent. So thank you for always being willing to listen to me, and I'm always very happy to listen to you. So happy birthday, Mom. I love you a lot. Hope it's the best day.
Hi Ruth, happy birthday. I hope you have the best weekend and the best day ever because you deserve it.
Something I've always admired in you is your ability to make others feel loved and welcome, especially in your own home. It reminds me of the time I came out to Folsom, the very first time I came out to visit Richard while we were dating, and I was extremely nervous to meet everybody. And I walked in your house and you welcomed me with big open arms and a big hug, and you just made me feel so welcome, and you told me, welcome home. And I absolutely loved that experience, and you've made me feel welcomed every time since. It's something that I've seen your example of and I want to do for others too, so thank you so much for that. I also really appreciate your ability to advocate for yourself, especially in times of need and hardship, being able to accept other people's help. That's something I always want to try and do better of, and I love your example of that. So thank you for being such a wonderful mother-in-law and loving us, especially in our parenting journey, and supporting us in the things we try to take from you and your example as a mother, and also for supporting us in the things we do different. It makes me feel very loved and supported, and me and Richard appreciate it so much. And I hope you have the best day, because we absolutely love you and you're the best. Happy birthday.
As I've been thinking about what to say in my video, I've been racking my memory and trying to pick a favorite. And even though I could include anything that we've done on a trip, where we've gone with you to Disneyland, Hearst Castle, Tahoe, my favorite memory is kind of a central theme and a really good example of a lot of the things that I appreciate about Mom. And it's when she saved my Christmas for Aaron. It's a fairly embarrassing story for myself, but I don't mind sharing here now. I had been doing a lot of shopping on Amazon and had been sending the packages ordered to Mom and Dad's house. And it's Christmas Eve and things are going along. We're fixing dinner and prepping for everybody to come over and the party to start. And I asked Mom, hey, have you been getting the packages that I've been ordering and sending to the house? And she says, I don't know what you're talking about. And so we did a quick check and nothing had come, and something had happened in the process of the order being processed online where nothing went through. And so it was a year where I was getting a lot of sheet music for Erin and her piano. And fortunately, a lot of the things that I had ordered, Mom had on hand in all of her piano books. And so we pulled a lot of those, and I was able to pull some other things together. And it really saved my Christmas for Erin. It's such a huge example of how helpful, extremely helpful she is, how generous she is about everything else. And then I've always felt welcome in the family just from the get-go. And so those are some things that I admire about Mom. But I'd probably say even more recently is it's been amazing to watch her take on grad school and seek out her new career in counseling. And so it's been awesome to watch. It's been fun to talk and hear about how everything's been progressing. And so keep going, keep working, and we love you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom. I hope you enjoy getting some messages from us. We love you, and I'm grateful to give you some love today. Something I've admired about you is that you love learning. You have always been a lover of learning. Like, I remember when you learned about the Circle of Fifths and how many people you were excited to tell about the principles that guide what we do in music. And how ultimately you did enjoy your psych class, your neuroscience psych class, and so many others. I admire how hard you work. You have always worked hard with teaching piano, with taking care of the family, and you've expected us to do the same in your callings and everything. You've always put in everything that's required to make things happen. I've also noticed that you are intentional about your life, that you have always been a very careful and practical planner for the things that you want in your life and how you want them to go. You're careful with finances, and you're careful with the schedule and what we do and what we don't. That said, our schedule was always very full, and we did lots of really fun things, but you were always making sure that it was in budget, that we were spending money on the right things that would bring us the most and maximize what we had. And I appreciate that and the inspiration that that's given me. And I appreciate that you expected a great deal from us, that we were not to settle for less than we could be. And that's changed my life. A memory I wanted to share was one phone call when I was in college. I think it was my sophomore year. We were talking, and it was fun. And when we hung up, I realized that I had been talking with a friend, that you had always been my mom. You'd always had my back. You had always been invested in me, and I'd always loved you. But not until I was in college, a little bit more independent, a little bit more in my adult life, did I realize that we could really be friends in all the ways that I was used to having a friend. And you have become my best friend, and I love you. Happy birthday.